Hare Krishna. From this respect team, my name is Suresh.
Hare Krishna, I am Sandeep Khode.
Hare Krishna, I am Rajat Bhattacharya.
Hare Krishna, I am Gaur Das, one member of this team.
Hare Krishna, Danut Pranam, I am Vraj Pran Krishna Das.
Hare Krishna, my name is Atmavan Das.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, I am Krishna Kumar.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. My name is Shyam Sakha Das.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. My name is Karuna Kishore Das.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, I am Shrikant Aute.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, I am Shravan Balaji.
Shravan is a devotee child from America. His parents are in a place called Delaware. That's the place I first met him. Gem of a devotee. And in the very first meeting, he was asking me, Prabhu, I want to do Bhakti Shastri, he was asking. He's a very good Mridangam player. And now currently he got a seat in the UC Berkeley. He's in second year undergrad now. He's doing on computer science and neuroscience. He's doing, but he because he has been writing to me regularly on email and also I invited him to Pune. He's here for a week, right? Yeah, Hari Baba.
So we welcome you. The topic is, do we like to respect others or do we try and command respect from others? So what is it? What is the consensus? How many of us prefer respecting others? Wow. I need to meet you all more often. I'm in the second group. Who all want others to respect us? You're in both the teams. How is that possible? This is really split personality. Half of her wants to respect, the other half wants respect. So, without any further ado, let's get into the presentation.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See, what happens is that the moment we come into bhakti, start chanting 16 rounds, getting associated with devotees, wear khanti, we think that we are a different species compared to others. Right? So we think that we are much more superior. We start looking down on others. That's creeps into us, and we start looking at others little down. That he's a karmi, he eats onion garlic, he watches too much TV. This is what we do. Why this comes in is that because we soon forget what we were before coming into bhakti. So we forget that totally. And this is the forgetting mentality is what is a problem with us. So if we often keep in our mind what we were and what we were doing before coming to bhakti, I think we will be more careful before criticizing others. This is the first point which comes very strongly in the paragraph what we read. Then second thing is that we should be great. We should be compassionate to others. We should be always compassionate to others, because we should remember that when someone has brought us into bhakti because of compassion towards us. So when someone has shown compassion to us to bring us into bhakti, we introduce us, and we were told what we are supposed to do, and he has shown compassion. Why shouldn't we show compassion to others? So rather than criticizing that person, I think we should be more compassionate to that person and push him slowly, steadily, with patience. Not that he should be he should start chanting 16 rounds on the day one and follow the 4 regulatory principles at the same time. There will be some hurdles in between. I think we should give enough chance to that person to take time, take step by step, take baby steps, and then finally reach the goal. That is what the first paragraph is. And I'll hand over to Prabhuji.
Yes, so this is a very important point. We've all had the unfortunate experience of visiting the doctor. How many of us have not? Anyone here who's not been to a doctor? Okay, good. Good in the sense, just because the example holds. Yeah, so when we visit the doctor, isn't there that expectation at the back of our heads that we'll be cured? At the very least, we'll come out alive. That's the least, right? But here, when we are talking about trying to bring someone into devotional life, it's not a matter of just bringing him in. Please remember that we are actually disrupting a lot of the person's life. He was enjoying his movies. People actually enjoy movies, otherwise, they wouldn't be so popular. We are getting him out of all these things. We better give him something which is more engaging. That's our prime responsibility once we've tried to bring him on this side. That is compassion. So without this compassion, we bring him in here and he finds nothing to really hold his interest. What are we doing to that poor chap? We must ask ourselves this. And the second point.
So, to summarize whatever we have spoken, said we should not forget our past and only live in the current glories. We should always remember our past so that we will have our foot well grounded always. We should remember that we are all practicing sadhakas. We are not pure devotees. Moment we should not consider that we are pure devotees, and that's the time we look down on others. We have to consider ourselves as the practicing sadhaka. We are trying to do bhakti. We are always trying to do bhakti. We are not achieved what bhakti is. And secondly, about the compassion, the second point was of the compassion. Always remember about the person who brought you into bhakti, trained us with pains, and then that's the reason we are in here. So we should also look people, the suffering people with compassion, and so that we can bring many people as into bhakti. Thank you so much. We'll move to the second topic.
So the second topic is a proud preacher drives people away. How many of us agree with this? Yeah? Especially in the beginning, right? We are just coming in, we are just trying to bring someone in, and we are really arrogant with that person. And then we get surprised, अरे ये तो भाग गया. आजकल मेरा फोन भी नहीं उठाता है. He doesn't even come for any programs. He doesn't have any taste. कर्मीज यार, क्या करे अभी इन लोग का? There also there is arrogance. You know, that is because of him that he is run away, not because of me. So this is in tune with the above point of compassion. We must also be soft on the poor fellow, not come across as a Ravana or something. Give him a nice human face to look at, and he will be really interested. Let's hear more about this.
Hare Krishna. Proud people will surely drive the people away. It is very important that preacher should not have more proud. We see from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from the when Lord himself went where the Mayavadis were having their gathering, he went and he sat outside near the pot where people come and wash their feet. When they asked, you come here, sit inside, he said, no, I am not of that caliber to come and gather. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that he is not proud. And then everybody listened him. So a proud preacher will drive and could not gather. It's very difficult.
Hare Krishna. So basically, it's our job is not only to preach. Our job as a preacher, it's more towards reforming ourselves. That has been a task given to us by our seniors. And we have to always think like whatever preaching or the power of preaching that I have is because of Guru, Acharya and Krishna. It's not my own power I'm doing. So we have to give everything to our Guru Parampara. We are just a medium, a kind of a postman doing our job, nothing else. So in Chaitanya Shikshashtakam we have seen Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnanam Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So we have to be very humble and we have to accept a very humble position while preaching. It's not like forcing and becoming like boss. Like we should be having das attitude rather than boss attitude. Just to conclude on this point, like in Bhagavad Gita 15.5, Bhagavan Krishna has also said, like Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvinver Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Sange Garchantya Mudha Padamya Vyattata. So I'll just read the translation. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who be unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So Lord Krishna also wants to accept a humble position rather than becoming proud or having pride in preaching and becoming just serving the devotees or making them devotees by becoming das. That's the essence of this message. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so pride, what do we do about pride? How can we vanquish it? Like Prabhuji mentioned in passing, one of the easiest way to vanquish pride is whatever positive happens, we give the credit to the parampara, to Guru and Sadhu and Krishna. But if we slip up somewhere, that is on account of me. It's not the other way around. If something has gone wrong, it's a parampara ka problem hai. And if everything has gone right, then I have done it. Once we flip this thinking over, you'll find you'll be able to control pride much easier. And that brings us to the next point also, that is, I am not the only cause, but one of the contributors in the preaching mission. I am not the only cause, but normal thinking, at least mera to hai, after Krishna, Sarva Karana Karanam is me only. Everything happens because of me. Of course, Krishna hai, but immediately after him, I am Sarva Karana Karanam. So, what do we need to do about this?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a nice introduction. Just before I talk about this, just want to understand everyone's feeling like you go for a book distribution, not a big distributor, but you went first day for a book distribution and you score about 100 books first day. How do you feel? How you feel bad or good? How many of you feel good out of that? And how many of you think that what Prabhuji is talking about, that after Krishna, I am Sarv Karan Karanam? How many of you think about this? Of course, all of us, because very first day, I had this much of. But we should always remember one thing, that before that, the person who has taken even one book from us, there are multiple devotees might have approached him. But out of hurry or out of some other reasons, he didn't take. But one fine day, when I approached him, said, okay, chalo, ab le hi leta hu. So that's how it is happening. Before us, probably a lot of devotees had tried to reach to the people. But eventually, Krishna is also in their heart. So when Krishna tell them, they take that. So that's how it is. We should always remember. I just remember one analogy that Prabhupada gave, that even a nut, small nut, is also important in a machine. If that nut is also not there, the complete machine is useless. One point, okay, crores of rupees of machine, but if it is not running, what's the use of that machine? Why it is not only, Prabhu, one nut is missing, that has to be imported. Gone. So similarly, when we are putting our preaching efforts, if we are getting some results, that is purely because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. We should always remember this. One fine line, like I find it in this paragraph, we should always remember that we are into compassion mission. This is a mission of compassion. If we remember this, we will always remain humble, not dumble. Always remain humble. So that's how we can always remember, if we keep remembering that yes, I am part of what? Compassion mission. Then only we'll be able to serve Guru and Gauranga properly. Hare Krishna. I've been seeing time and time, so I'm stopping here and giving to Prabhuji.
Thank you. Ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. So, if that feeling comes that I am the doer, first of all, what is it means Guru and Krishna are not doing anything? Is that even possible? I am doing, Guru and Krishna are not doing anything. And second, what Krishna is saying, this is because of Ahankar. And Ahankar has done what? Vimudatma. It has warped our thinking. So let's move to the next point. Respect, encourage and appreciate non-devotees, especially the newcomers. Why? It will give them a chance to become devotees. Who doesn't like appreciation? Even when we are so-called senior, we still like appreciation, right? That doesn't go away. So you can imagine when I'm a newcomer, how did I feel? Some senior devotee said, in fact, I remember just now, Mahavishnu Prabhu Maharaj, he had come to India and it was I think within the first week of my joining. And Maharaj looked at me and he called me and he said, Prabhu, you are wearing such a lovely tilak. And it pleased me so much. I still remember it after 25 years. Just one small little comment like that. So, let's give the newcomers, especially the non-devotees, a good chance to remain here. We'll hear more about that just now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you very much. We are talking about that a couple is there and one husband is devotee and the wife is non-devotee. In that case, what happens? There will be always this sankarshan. There will be always some kind of chance of fighting will be there, or there will be arguments or disagreements and all that. So how we can handle this is that we have seen one devotee is sharing the experience that his wife was a devotee and he was not a devotee. But every time there was a counselor meeting, he used to, at the right time, he used to drop at that counselor meeting and come back. And very often we used to go, but nobody forced him, you please come in, you sit there, and he was not asked to do anything about this preaching. But that itself, people were cool, and when the prasadam was there, people used to call him inside and please take prasadam, and nobody talked him about the preaching or the philosophy and all that. But slowly, he felt that how these people are so respectful to me, and he felt that this is something very good which I should take interest in. That's how he became a devotee. Initially, we feel that bringing the husband or wife will be very difficult. Even Prabhupada, for his wife, he never forced her that you take devotion, you start chanting. There was not a single time there was an argument in his house that when devotees are coming, why you're not doing anything, why you're not helping, and like that. There was no such kind of argument with Prabhupada with his wife. Even when we see that Narad Muni, when he explained to Valmiki first time that he was say first that why you are killing people. He said I have to feed my family and all that. He said this kind of earning is not a proper way. Are they ready to take your sins and all that? He said he has gone and he has explained. So he gave his space that whatever you're doing, are you right? What are you doing is right? Is that right? Just check it up. He didn't say that you stop it and start chanting Hare Ram or Ram Krishna, Ram Ram Nam. He didn't ask him initial stage. And then...
Thank you so much. Let's have the skits quickly.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for setting the context for us. Prabhuji, if you allow, can we do just one skit, just 2 more minutes? Thank you so much. So all of us wants to be preachers, right? But there can be negative aspects to it. So the topic of this skit is Hare Krishna. Immature preaching of Krishna consciousness can lead to rejection. So it's a skit between a husband and a wife. Most of us are aware of that kind of situation. So we'll see how it goes. So a husband here is a devotee, while a wife is a new devotee. She's not even a devotee. She's new into the movement. So let's see how it goes. So husband is thinking to himself, my newly wedded wife is a non-devotee. If I associate with her, even I might fall down. Instead, somehow I will make her the devotee. Dear, you should always chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day, because all these years you have been in Maya and stocked huge volume of anarthas.
Dear, I'll begin at least chanting 2 rounds of Hare Krishna every day. Dear, I'll begin chanting 2 rounds of Hare Krishna every day. And see, I have to also do so many household chores. Like I have to take care of your parents. I have to clean the house, wash your clothes, everything I have to do.
I understand, but you have to match the spiritual standard of your husband. You can see that I am Brahman initiated and I conduct a program of over 40 people in a week. What will people think if you're not a devotee like me?
Okay, I agree. But I also need some time to grow. Even the Krishna conscious philosophy is very new to me. I come from a family, you see, where we've been worshipping Lord Shiva for over 20 years.
Oh, that's exactly why you have to chant Hare Krishna, to purify yourself. What are you doing inside?
What is the matter? I'm in the bathroom. I'll come out in 30 minutes.
That's all right. But I want to remind you to please keep chanting Hare Krishna even inside the washroom, because death may come anytime.
To myself, better I just return to my parents' house. This is too much torture.
Did you hear me or not? Please keep chanting Hare Krishna.
Come on, I'm feeling harassed in this house.
Yes. Either we all have to be harassed by Maya or we keep chanting Hare Krishna. And the wife leaves. What's the quick takeaway? When people are new, we need to show compassion, right? We need to give them space. All of us have had our initial journeys, right? All of us had a different pace. But we need to give space. We need to make them mature, right? Only once a loving relationship is built, then we give them instructions and then we go about it. I'm sure we're running short of time, so we'll stop here. Oh, if you just conclude it. Thank you.
Radheshyam Prabhu, do we have time for the second skit? Actually, there was a lot of confusion in the beginning. I think we lost a lot of time there as well. Okay.
Prabhuji, I'm having one question. Like, I have seen so many students, those who are trained under voice or they are following Krishna consciousness, when it is the time to get married, they always want that girl should be devotee. And the girl who's in Krishna consciousness, she wants that boy should be devotee. But their expectations are so high and they are very confused. And when I've heard some lectures of Radheshyam Prabhu, so in that I've heard that if girls are getting married to a non-devotee, it's okay. She will make him devotee. But boys, they are very firm कि नहीं हमको तो devotee लड़की चाहिए, otherwise we will not get married. ऐसे में क्या suggestion देंगे हम हमारे बच्चों को?
Thank you for the question. Suggestion as in, do you want I presume you have a son. So do you want him to marry a devotee or a non-devotee? So what's the problem? Available. Now, you probably have to contact Girls' Voice for that. You have someone who is sitting right next to you. No, but in general, uh, marrying a devotee or a non-devotee is not the goal. The goal is compatibility in the way that both of you can do Krishna consciousness together after marriage. So just both the devotee couple, both husband and wife, were devotees prior to marriage, does not by itself guarantee you a and they lived happily together, that kind of situation. There have been, unfortunately, enough cases where devotees, both of them, have ended up separating. So please don't push this idea too much that you have to marry a devotee. You have to marry someone who is compatible to you, and then both of you all together do Krishna consciously nicely. That's why compatibility is what is needed, right? And one more training that you could give is Bhakti Siddhanta had said, na, that this material world is a toilet, but you should get away quickly. So don't remain in the toilet too long. Hope that sorts out your problem.
No, Prabhu, you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Pranam. Pranam. So my question is that now when we come in devotee association, we get lot of sevas with equals instead of seniors and juniors because our authority wants purification. But what happens is that the person with whom we are getting the seva, they are very good materially, they are very good spiritually, they are higher than us. But their general dealings are not that good. So not able to respect them and then not able to do service with them. So that respect is like hindrance to the service also and everything. So how to deal, what to do in such a situation?
Just one clarification, Mataji. So you mean like while doing the service, there's like some misunderstanding or something like that? Is what you're saying, or
Not while doing the service, but in background we know how the devotee is. Maybe they're very good spiritually, but in general they're not that good when they talk or when whatever they do.
Yeah.
So Hare Krishna. So one of the senior devotees has told me this thing, and I'm just repeating the same words. Being a good devotee and being a good person, these two are different things. When you become both the things together, you become a next level devotee. So that is the thing. We have to not only follow the devotional practices, but in general, our association with common people, association with our family who are not practicing devotees has to be good. These are natural characteristics expected from us. Like we should be very humble with them. We should be respecting them. We should be actually taking care of them. That is expected. And we have to accept the other person as his or her nature. We have to accept that and then deal accordingly.
But it gets difficult to respect them then. No.
Then that's something we have to work upon ourselves. So that's.
It is about the expectations. You have high expectations from others. That is a big hindrance. So if you stop expecting that, there will be something like very high ideals. So please stop it. That is a big problem. Is that okay?
Let's try and figure out what Srila Prabhupada had to say about this. That would set the matter to rest, right? Prabhupada's answer. Yeah. Are you working or? Okay. So you are interacting with the outside world enough. Do you have the same problem outside? Not a little bit. It will be at least the same, if not more. So if you can tolerate it outside, Prabhupada said, here you are the devotees of the Lord. So tolerate it. And one of the foundational shlokas of Bhagavad Gita is also this. Tam statikshava bharata. Tolerate. Because these are just like the seasons, they will come and go. So don't worry too much about it.
One shloka I remember is in Bhagavad Gita, it says that if a devotee may not be like perfect in dealings right now, but if he's situated in devotional practice, then eventually he'll be like that. So we have to respect everyone. Like someone is even not a devotee and is like this, still we have to respect because later he may become a devotee and that can be an offense to him. So.
Hare Krishna. There is also an attendance sheet circulated with your names for the SLATE participants. There is also a pen circulated with it. If you can just return both, it will be great. Thank you.
So it was a good beginning, this group, because they asked a question to the audience. See, one advantage always the second, third, fourth groups have is they learn from the first group. Yeah. When they hear, when I say what all you should do, they make sure they do it. Like a good boy. No. So they knew how to make a good beginning, good and grand beginning. It was good. So everybody was attentive because the question was being asked, isn't it? And there was a very moving point. I think Krishna Kumar Prabhu made it, I think. We often judge others because we have forgotten what we were before. And yeah, that was a very good point. So, especially when you speak a point very sincerely from the heart, these things go from consciousness to consciousness. See, there are certain things when you speak with experience, with realization, with conviction, they go straight. It doesn't have to go through the sound and then going into the ears. It just goes straight into the... Just like we say, Tene Brahma Hrida Ya Adi Kavaye. We say, no? Which means parampara is a chain of hearts. Like Lord Vishnu affectionately taught Brahma and Brahma taught Narada. Narada taught Vyasa like that. So it came down in parampara. In the same manner, when something is spoken very sincerely, it will just touch the heart. Who's coming? Yes. Yeah. And yeah, take the mic. You can read the third one, Prabhu. This one. I think it's the third point. Yeah.
When we say we forget the past and live in present glories, people will say, what's wrong? We should live in the present. Therefore
Like that they'll say. Because nowadays, very famous thing. Live in the present or live in the past. People say you should always live in the present. Don't worry about the past or fear about the future, they will say. So they will misunderstand your statement. So instead, what you can say? I can read it.
Therefore say, we forget our bad past.
We forget our bad past and we only think I am a wonderful devotee now. So one should remember the bad past of ours in order to be humble. Like you said, you can have your head in the clouds, but you should have your leg in the ground. You say, no? Which means, once you are doing many wonderful devotional activities, don't think you are a pure devotee. That's the point. We also should remember our past and then we won't judge others. So we can say that we often forget our bad past, you can say. Read ahead, Prabhu.
We are not pure devotees. We are practicing devotees. Good point. Look at suffering people with compassion, brought out well with feeling. Not be a Ravana, maybe too heavy to say. We can say not misrepresent Guru ISKCON.
Yeah. So devotees cannot be compared with asuras. But we may have asuric mentality sometimes. So when we say that, by not respecting the audience, we misrepresent the Guru or ISKCON, because people will think that this ISKCON is bad. These people are not cultured. They will think like that. We bring bad reputation to the movement. Can say like that. And also, you can give shastric examples. For example, You can say how Rahugana behaved with, Jadabharata. And he was speaking as if he's very knowledgeable, but he was speaking to a very saintly person, Or how Ramaharshana Sutta did not respect Balaramji. He neglected him, and then because of that, he lost the opportunity to be a, Katavyas. He lost the opportunity and he was killed also on the spot. So we have to be careful. Although we can be preachers, but we shouldn't be proud and misrepresent our parampara. Something like that, if you say shastrically, then it will be right also. I don't know whether you all have heard one story of one Rupa Kaviraj. This Rupa Kaviraj in Radha Kund banks, he used to have Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Katha, very intelligent speaker. Lot of people would attend also. So there was some Krishna Priya Mataji who used to attend, and she was daughter of a very, very great pure devotee. I don't remember the name. I think Gangadas Pandit's daughter, I think. So she used to sit and also hear Bhagavatam, but her lips would be constantly moving, chanting Krishna's names. She was unable to stop the lips. You can imagine some very pure devotees, they chant 24 hours continuously. So when he was giving Katha, he saw her and said, "See, I am speaking Katha, you hear attentively, don't chant," he said. But she said, "But I am unable to stop my lips. My lips naturally call out the names, but I am calling softly." But he again insisted and shouted at her. So next life he became a ghost, this great speaker, because of offending a pure devotee. She was a pure devotee. So sometimes in our audience there may be somebody very respectable. So if you are not, one verse I will show you from Bhagavatam. That verse will make it clear. This is spoken by Rahugana at the end of this thing, the whole pastime. You all can repeat the verse. Namo mahadbhyostu namasya shubhyo. Namo yuvabhyo nama avatubhyah. Ye brahmana gam avaduta lingash. Charanti tebhyah shivamastu rajñam. 5.13.23. He's saying, see, this is what he's saying. Read the translation, one of you, who has the mic with you. Yeah.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the great personalities, whether they walk on the earth's surface as children.
And like children, so for example, Prahlad, or like Dhruva, or like four Kumaras. They are like small children, but are they children?
No.
They are exalted pure devotees.
Young boys, avatars, or great brahmanas.
There are many young boys who are also great devotees. Like one time in the one king's assembly, Parashara was sitting on the lap of his father. He was a small boy. He was a 7-year-old boy sitting on the lap of his father. So Markandeya Rishi happened to come to the palace. And then he met the king, he spoke to the king. Suddenly he turned around and he saw Parashara sitting. And he offered Ashtanga Pranam to him. And seeing that everybody got up and they also offered obeisances. So Parashara felt very uneasy. He told Markandeya Rishi that, "Oh great sage, how is it that I am such a small boy, you are offering me obeisances like this? I feel ashamed," he said. And Markandeya told him, "Hey Parashara, your wisdom is so great that even all the people of this world put together, they can't match your wisdom. You are so realized, you are so devoted and so wise. How can I not offer you obeisances?" No, he said. So here is an example of a young boy who is getting, like Shukadeva was a young boy also, a 16-year-old boy. In his assembly was sitting who? His guru, Vedavyas. And his guru? Narada, they were sitting also. So actually he's saying, I respect children, I respect young boys, and then?
Avadutas.
Avadutas. For example, when Shukadeva was walking, some people were pelting stones, some women, some children, some common people in the village. They thought he is naked and was walking like this. And then they went on doing it until he came to the bank of Ganges and he accepted he became a Katha Vyasapit, he accepted. And then they saw many rishis are hearing them, so they all felt ashamed. After that, they ran away. So Rishabhadev is an Avaduta. Shukadev is an Avaduta. 7th canto there is one Avaduta also. 11th canto there is another Avaduta who was met by, Yadu Raja. So one should not consider the Avadutas to be foolish or ignorant. They may be very realized. So he said, let me be very careful in dealing with people. He said, somebody is having long beard and mustache and everything, or somebody looks like a bum, like Kushakrata Prabhu. Earlier his name was Crazy Peter. He looked like crazy. Later on went on to become a great devotee. Yeah.
Or great.
Yeah. There may be great Brahmins. Let Rajakulam not disrespect Brahma Kulam. Because then Rajakulam will be burned away, destroyed. By disrespecting great Brahmins like Jadabharata. Like that he says. Yes.
Even if they are hidden under different guises, I offer my respects to all of them. By their mercy, may there be good fortune in the royal dynasties that are always offending them.
The royal dynasty means Kshatriyas. And sometimes Kshatriyas may think Brahmanas depend on us for building temples, or Brahmanas depend on us for charity. The Brahmanas are weaklings, they're physically weak, we are physically strong. These kind of wrong notions may be there amongst the Kshatriyas. But the real Kshatriya is one who is submissive to the Brahmins. He considers like Vishwamitra and Vasishta, in their dialogue, that was an interesting dialogue. Vishwamitra told, see, I am Kaushik Raja, and you are Vasishta Brahman. I am a Kshatriya, and you are Brahman. But how is it that, your Kamadhenu created so many warriors who destroyed all my soldiers? That means Brahma Tejas appears to be greater than Kshatriya Tejas. Like that he said, therefore, I will go to the forest and perform penance and become a Brahma Rishi. So he went to the forest. The only problem was, he did a little penance, he became from Raja Rishi to Maharishi he became. Then he returned back to attack Vasishta. When he threw a lot of weapons in Vasishta took his staff. They have the staff for sitting. And then that he absorbed all the weapons inside. Again, our Vishwamitra lost his tapavalam and felt very ashamed. Then he told him, despite being a Kshatriya and despite having performed penances, still I am not able to overpower you. Then he said, you are like a squirrel, I am like a lion, he said. Lion may be king of the forest, but the lion cannot climb up to the top of the tree and sit on a small twig, which who can do? Squirrel can do. Similarly, the Brahmanas are powerful by wisdom and realization and the devotion to God. And Kshatriyas are powerful by bodily power. So therefore, the Kshatriyas need the direction. Otherwise, Kshatriyas are guided by Rajoguna. Rajoguna is like, Rajas is like a flood. A flood can do no good. But if the flood is controlled by Brahminical goodness, then it becomes like a dam. A dam can do great good. Flood cannot do any good. So, like for example, a mad elephant cannot do any good. Good elephant can do something good. So in this way, he is telling that Kshatriya Kulam requires Brahmanas' advice, and let us not take it very cheaply. Although Brahmanas externally look frail and thin and weak physically, but they are strong by their wisdom and devotion. And they are very dear to the Lord. And by offending a Brahmana, it is more serious than offending the Lord also. Because the Lord considers them like his own children. Brahmanas are called Bhudeva. They are called as earthly gods. So therefore he is saying, let me respect them very carefully. Why he says this? Because he was about to get into a trouble by offending Jadabharata when he was sitting on the top of palanquin. But later on, as soon as he saw the wisdom of Jadabharata, he got down and offered obeisances, and he heard the whole katha from him. Towards the end, he says this, like this. So you can also sometimes quote shastra like this. It may be. So that's what I was telling, that instead of Ravana example, you can quote this kind of example, you can quote. And then go ahead.
Example of Lord Chaitanya sitting in washing place. Perfect example of a humble preacher.
Yeah, very, very fitting example to us. Very nice. Thank you.
Most of your time went for basics, Prabhus. There are many vital aspects of your topic which got missed. One,
like there was one drama about pushing in Tulsi Aarti, correct, no?
Yes.
Actually, which many people do. Many people don't know. Like Tulsi Aarti, you go around, and then we make 2 lines. And then you you should go and stand in a line. Instead, other people put their hand like this inside. When they put their hand in between, people wonder where is the hand coming from. So suddenly from the sky, one hand is coming, and they show the hand like that. So nowadays, I find even in Bombay, I observed when a bus comes and stands, people immediately form a queue. Any of you observed this? And people go in a queue. You go to railway station, they go in a queue. I saw one devotee, and 200 people are standing in a queue. This devotee tried to go to the window directly. People are giving sound like that. And this devotee looked around it. Hey, go behind the queue. He said, no, I have to catch a train, he said. And he said, I am in a hurry, he said. They said, we are all in a hurry also. Who is not in a hurry in this world? Who is not in a hurry? Everybody is in a hurry right now. So, and all the more so, imagine you are wearing dhoti kurta or you are wearing tilak and you just try to go directly to the ticket counter. It brings a bad reputation to the ISKCON society. People will say the Hare Krishna devotees are insensitive. They're just pushing. So that was one example, one little drama was there. And attending Bhagavatam class of juniors is a very important thing. That example, because generally devotees think that if some very senior devotee is giving, we will go to the class. Otherwise, juniors, what are they going to speak? We anyway know what they're going to say. They generally tend to think like that. But nowadays, like I'll tell you one example. But there was a junior brahmachari, very young brahmachari. He's just giving Bhagavatam class second or third time now in our temple. And he gave such a class. Everybody clapped hands. They were thrilled. Then we came to know that he prepared for this lecture. 12 hours he prepared. And he has heard from Radha Govind Maharaj. He has heard his own spiritual master, referred to many books and gathered. Then I asked him, what inspired you to devote so much time to prepare for the class? Many times we come, last 1 hour we see and just we give. What inspired you? He said, Prabhuji, anyway I'm junior, people won't come. But at least if I give something substantial, next time they may consider coming. People. So juniors always fear that I should prepare something and give. Otherwise, people will say that you are not up to the mark. So many of the juniors actually work very hard. So what is my understanding? Even if you go to a juniors class, he may not have too much realizations, but he can give you some very good information, which may be, good for you to go back and refer. And then you can get more understanding about that. Nowadays, many juniors are preparing well also nowadays, many younger ones also. Plus another thing, you can think about the junior devotee also, what are his good qualities. He's doing services. One can appreciate his service. Generally, you not only associate with the class, you also associate with the person's nature, his dealing as a devotee, his goodness, his devotion. Many other things are there. So that's why I had put one small skit on that also, correct, no? Then giving respectful feedback, which is a very important part of this seminar. For example, when in Vrindavan I saw once one speaker spoke something, and then in the audience he asked any questions or comments. So in the audience somebody commented, and then the speaker said something, and the audience said something. For example, speaker was emphasizing that tattva samajhna chahiye. Leela se kuch nahi hota. The whole class was on that. He said, we have to discuss philosophy. Simply Leela will not do. And the audience person said, he said, you Prabhuji, go wherever in Bhagavatam you read Naam, Rup, Guna, Leela, ki or asakti chahiye. Without that, there is no use of dry philosophy. Only Mayavadis, they want dry philosophy. Then this person, speaker, like that he was telling. The speaker said, if you are only going to, discuss pastimes, people will hear it out like stories. And then people will become sajiyas, like that he said. Then that fellow said, that is all right. But if you read Prabhupada's books, along with pastimes, he is also giving little philosophical explanation. Krishna book when you read. इसलिए along with pastime थोड़ा insert कर सकते हैं philosophy. हम नहीं बोल रहे कि philosophy करा हुआ है. But pastimes are very important, he was said. Then the other person said, no. First, philosophical foundation is necessary. And it was going back and forth. Already the 9 o'clock bell rang. And these two fellows are going till 9:20. People saw here, people saw that. ये क्या बोल रहा है, वो क्या बोल रहा है, ये क्या. And they looked at the watch and one by one they got up and went. And ultimately, in that temple hall, only 3 people were there. These 2 fellows and myself. Nobody else was there. Everybody had left already. But I sometimes observe these things so that I can learn a lesson that I shouldn't do it in my life, correct? No? So in this way, sometimes giving, we have to give a respectful feedback. We had put up one very good drama in that. But what happened, as I told before, they ran out of time because they focused more on the basics. Very coolly, very slowly, they were presenting the basics, many of them. But in that, they lost their time for drama. So this is another lesson we can learn, how to do time allotment. Each group, correct, no? How much time for this, how much time for this. And we should tell some people that you will get only this much time, Prabhu, within that you have to finish. So everybody gets that time. So I had given one example there for the drama when I wrote. I wrote that there is one arrogant boy in the center. And when the preacher, who was a junior boy, was giving lecture, so he didn't want to go for that, but because, the leader was telling everybody should go, so he went. But he was not in a good mood to hear. But then the speaker was telling Arjuna was very soft-hearted. Therefore, he was not ready to fight the battle. But this boy immediately started giving feedback and said, Prabhu, why are you going, why are you deviating from parampara? Huh? Arjuna had a bodily consciousness. He was attached to the bodies of his relatives. Huh? And you are saying Arjuna was soft-hearted. Because you are junior, you are not well read in Prabhupada books. That's why you are deviating from parampara. Huh? Prabhupada condemned very heavily those who deviate from parampara. Huh? And Prabhupada said, we should not hear from such fellows. And things like that he started speaking. And the preacher, he started trembling. Huh? Because he thought. And then the senior preacher told him, is there anybody who can substantiate the point that Arjuna was soft-hearted? So one boy raised hand. What he said? Prabhupada says in 2nd chapter beginning, 1 verse, that Arjuna was a soft-hearted devotee, due to which he did not want to fight the battle. So in another verse, Prabhupada says Arjuna, he didn't say Arjuna was material attached. He says material attachment leads to, becoming, what do you call it? Weak-heartedness, material attachment. But that is for not Arjuna, that is for us. So we may become sometimes material attached and have weak heart. But Arjuna is actually portraying the role of a conditioned soul. Therefore, he is doing that. So Prabhupada is saying both. In one purport, he says the material attachment. Another purport, he says soft-heartedness. So then it was presented. Then everybody understood that this devotee didn't speak anything wrongly. So then he also understood. Later on, the senior preacher calls him privately and says, Prabhu, don't correct in the class like this and publicly. You humiliated him. So you will strain your relationship with him. And tomorrow, for whole life, you will not forget it. So we have to be a bit sensitive when we are giving inputs, especially if it is an appreciative input, you can always give. Especially if you are going to give a feedback, you can only give with permission. It has been, even I took permission from all of you, correct, not to give this. Correct, no? If they are all right, then only we can give, because we should respect every individual soul and their feelings also. Therefore, that's a very famous saying, chastise in private, glorify in public. Very simple formula it is. Always glorify in public. And when you want to give an input also, it should be given in a very polite manner, in a appreciative at the same time polite manner. So, because we are talking about the subject of respect, that was a very important one. And practical tips on how we can respect, there were 6 to 8 points were given. Like, for example, respect the individual. Like, for example, one home, one guest arrived, grandmother, grandfather, then their son and daughter, then their son's wife, and then children. 6, 8 people came to one house. So the host, what they did? They treated them all equally by treating them differently. How can you treat all people equally by treating differently? Do you know? See, for the old lady, they gave her some juice to drink. And for the small children, they gave some cake and ice cream, which they will enjoy. And for the children's parents, they gave some lunch. They gave them. So they gave them all different things. They treated them equally by treating them differently. Why? What is the meaning of this? Everybody needs to be treated in the way they like to be treated. So that is one aspect of respect. For example, I will tell you an example. When this Burijan Prabhu came to meet Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, I want to give you a donation. I am a householder. Every month I give $200. Here is the packet. And Prabhupada took it and glorified Burijan Prabhu. Wonderful. You never fail giving donations. Every month you give $200. Thank you very much. Everybody else should follow in your footsteps, Prabhupada said. After that, His Holiness Samarksha Maharaj came and he put a check on Prabhupada table. Prabhupada, here is $20,000 from the bus party. He said, what? Just $20,000? I was expecting 50,000 this time. Huh? So somebody was asking, what is this? He gave $200, he glorified. He is giving $20,000 is scolding, because Prabhupada treated them equally by treating them differently. Because he knew whom to be treated in what way. Huh? So for that we need to know the feelings of others and uniqueness of others. Huh? That's like 5 fingers are unique. Similarly, every devotee is unique. That's what. So one of the aspects of respect is uniqueness. For example, imagine a mother has 2 children. One child is always bringing first rank. The other child is not able to bring the first rank. But the child is more, culturally oriented. That little girl, she's going for Bharatanatyam, she's playing harmonium, she's singing. But in studies, she's very weak. She's just able to, get some 8th rank or 10th rank. The mother need not talk about the studies at all. She can appreciate the child for the cultural talent and appreciate the other child for academic talent, and not compare them. By comparing them, we will do a very great psychological damage by that. So that is one important aspect of respect also. Avoiding unhealthy comparison. Like that, giving space to people to grow, that they showed the drama nicely. In a husband and wife, one should give space to grow, not to push people to grow very quickly. Yeah, like that. So this kind of some practical tips one can give, which will help the people to, take home some tip. Because many times what happens, philosophy is a bit difficult to bring to ground level. It's like cloud in the sky. Now it's pouring down. Once it becomes rain, you can drink water. Correct, no? Otherwise, the philosophy is many times hovering up. We all understand what the philosophy is, but we are unable to apply it in our life. So what makes you very easily apply some pointers for application? Do this, 1, 2, 3. Like I told you, 3, 4 things now, like that. Okay, go to the next one. Drama.
Drama. Clarity in speech. Sound was low. Important to pay attention to keeping mic close to mouth. Modulation perfect.
Modulation was good, yeah. And the presentation?
Presentation, delivery. Eye contact, very good. Every preacher had a different and nice flavor.
Very special team, I think. Every one of them was very extraordinary in this team. And they could hold the audience attention very well, yeah.
Presenters were pretty confident and were expressive, which kept the presentation lively. Some talks were very preachy, a little sober, self-deprecating would be more appealing.
Yeah. See, generally what happens, enthusiastic preachers sometimes, we should do this, we should do that, you should do that. It looks like that. When you say like that, then audience sometimes feels, my Lord, my Lord. You just like thunderbolts on the head. Audience feels, how can I, he's saying I should do this, I should do this, I should do that. Prabhu, I think I have to become a pure devotee to do all these things, which I am not. I don't know how many lifetimes it will take for me. So one of the easiest ways to convey your powerful points to people is to give some self-deprecating example. I'll tell you one example. One time, I was going in a train, I was sitting in the berth in the top, and I was doing my Bhagavatam study and everything. And when I was watching, there was one family down. The husband was wearing only shorts. What do you call it? Bermuda, they call it, no? Only short he was wearing. And he had his wife and 3 children, 2 little girls and 1 son. They were all sitting down. And I was just, while reading, I was just observing, these fellows are purchasing everything that came in the train. Mungfali came, they purchased Mungfali. Thumbs up came, they purchased thumbs up. Bhel came, there also they purchased. After some time, Kakadi came, that also they purchased. Somebody brought that packaged foods, no? That also they purchased, tore it open, and they were all eating like that. Ice cream, kulfi came, they purchased that. And then they were also taking lunch also, packets also, full prasad. They were almost like, I was just counting, almost dozen items. Came and they were purchasing. Ha ha ha, they were laughing and eating and everything. It appeared like a pakka materialistic family. And for me, when I saw from the top, look at these guys, how these fellows are, I was thinking. So when that station came, I had to get down half an hour before the station came. I just was getting down. And as soon as I got down, this gentleman saw me in this attire and immediately folded his palm and said, Jai Shri Krishna, he said. Huh? And then he told his children, hey, Jai Shri Krishna bola, Swamiji ko bola. He was telling. Then all the children saying, Jai Shri Krishna, they were all saying. Huh? Then his wife offered obeisances. Huh? And then he told me, he told everybody to move, and then he made a space for me to sit. I said, Swamiji, pata nahi tha ki upar hi baithe hain aap. पहले अगर पता चलता तो आपसे हम कथा सुनते थे. अभी भी थोड़ा टाइम है, 20 मिनट बचा, थोड़ा कथा बोल दीजिए. He was requesting me. Then I spoke something to them. But I was practically frozen, I can tell you, because my paradigm was that he's a pakka materialist. That was my thought. But after coming down, my paradigm got changed. At that time, I realized that I should not judge anybody. Anybody can be a very wonderful devotee. They come from a pious family, probably. They come from Gujarat and they have Laddu Krishna in their home. They may be at least pious, correct, no? Yeah. They may be very simple people. Some people have Laddu Krishna, they even carry in their basket also. They carry. Some people eat outside also. They don't know all these things, some of them. So I realized that I should not judge anybody. Anybody may be a very wonderful devotee. So we should be very careful. So in this way, you can say some example, which is self-deprecating means what? Where, you tell about yourself only like this. I was so bad. Then people say, very good, wonderful. And in the advantage of this kind of examples is that people will learn lesson also. At the same time, they won't feel that you are, instead of doing this on their head, we can do on. That is called self-deprecating example. Like another example, I'll tell you. I used to read many philosophy books, and I had a group of some 20-25 boys. We used to meet together to discuss different organization philosophies. We used to discuss. We were not very clear about ultimate truth at that time. So one of our idea was, if you are going to be a sadhu, you are supposed to be very renounced. You are not supposed to enjoy life. You should keep very minimum facilities, bare minimum, and you should eat frugally and you should dress simply and you should not enjoy any facilities. This has been the idea we had. So once when I first time went to the Juhu temple, the preacher was telling me that, come, let's go in the lift, he said. I said, I'm not an old man to go in the lift. I can climb up the staircase, I said. So that devotee told me, see, if you go by lift, you can save Krishna's 5 minutes, he said. Otherwise, you can climb up the staircase. If you go by this, we can save Krishna's 5 minutes and then we can do some important work. And that was very amazing idea for me. I agreed to go in the lift. So we went. Then we went to one particular floor where I was like shell-shocked when I saw that scene. It was a glass room where there were computers like this, and sadhus in saffron, they were sitting in the computer. When I saw that, I asked this man, hey, I have seen computers, I have seen sadhus, but never together. What is this? These guys are sitting in the computer. Sadhus are supposed to be living in the forest and counting the beads. What are these fellows doing with the computers? Then he told me, you may not know, this is called Yukta Vairagya. He said, Yukta Vairagya means you use everything only in Krishna service. These guys are not playing video games in the computer. They are not doing any nonsense in the computer. They only use computer for whose service? And that is the first time I learned what it was. And then it was like eye-opener for me. So, otherwise I thought, hey, these sadhus are gratifying their senses sitting in the computer, I thought. So my misunderstanding was cleared that day. Then I understood the principle of Yukta Vairagya. Even now I am also sitting like that right now. So, You can tell this kind of examples you can tell. Then what happens? You don't have to tell people that you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. You can say that I myself learned I should do it. Then they will learn also. Huh? That's called self-deprecating example. You can go ahead, read further.
There were others who tried to balance it.
I tried to balance it, yeah. Some of them, somebody else was speaking a little more softly, I think. Who was that Prabhuji? One another Prabhuji. I think that Prabhuji, I think. What's your good name, Prabhu? Yeah? Your good name? Karuna Kishore Prabhu. Yeah, Karuna Kishore Prabhu. He made a little balance. He gave similar example again. Very nice. Okay, go ahead, Prabhu. Next one.
Understanding and QA. Very mature answers to questions. Different teachers gave nice different perspectives.
Yeah, that was very good. And many of them gave very good answers. Huh? And one of the last questions of one Mataji, I think it was very good question. What was the question? I think you asked the question. What was it? Correct. So many of them said very good points that, to be a good human being is different from to be a good devotee. And these two are two different aspects. That was very good point. And also, another point I liked very much in their answers was, they were helping her to change the outlook. Why should you see only fault in them? We can also see fault in us also. Because they are what they are sometimes. Like for example, say Bahu is going to a house and then the Sas has a tendency to give Upadesh always. She tells the Bahu, come here, sit down, abhi suno. I saw her. So what she can think, she's an old woman and she's from a different generation. Correct, no? And we are in a different generation. In my, the Bahu can think in my age group, we may not like to hear such Upadesh or anything like that. We want to be quite free and independent. But in her, why is she giving Upadesh to me? Because she is concerned about me. She wants to see me do things properly. Sometimes the old people will say the same thing 2-3 times. You will see that. Like I heard a story once, father, went with this father was almost 88 or something like that. Very old father. He went with his son to the park, And son also was, son probably was something like 50 or something, 50 or 52 or something. So the father, he asked the son, what is that? Is that the crow which is crowing? And the son said, yes. Then the father asked for the second time, is it crow or sparrow which is making noise in the park? Son said crow. So third time when the father asked, is it the crow? Son became very angry. He said, kitne baar bolna padega mujhe? Like that he shouted. Baar aap puchte hain. Then the father became very calm. He didn't speak for a few moments. Then the son thought, maybe I have spoken very harshly or something. Then the son tried to change the topic. He went and brought something for his father and he gave. And then the father became cooled down after half an hour. He said, beta, तुम जब छोटे बच्चे थे, तुमने काक के बारे में 25 बार पूछा, पापा ये क्या है? मैंने बोला काक. पापा ये क्या है? The crow. पापा वो क्या है? वो भी crow. You showed 25 crows and asked me what is it? I told you 20 crows. Now I only asked you how many times? 3 times. If you are shouting like this, I am an old man. I cannot take it. My body is trembling. I am getting nervous tension. So we should feel sympathy for the old people. They are old in age and they may have worldly wisdom and sometimes they will tell their pastimes again and again many times. I did this in my school days, I did that in this thing. They may sometimes say that they want to share with somebody, they want someone to listen to them. So we can do it as one of our services to them by being polite to them, kind to them. Then they feel some satisfaction that yes, there is somebody to hear me. But in our own way, if you are going to sort of disrespectful to them, then the situation at home won't be good. It becomes a problem. So therefore, that was very good. I think a couple of them said about how sometimes what cannot be cured must be endured. That's a saying in English. What cannot be cured must be endured. In certain things we cannot change. Like, one husband was telling his wife, if you could have been little more fair, I would have been very happy, he said. Yeah. He said that. And then the wife told the husband, if only you are not so short like a brinjal, I would be more happy, she said. Yeah. Husband became very angry. What? You are comparing me to a brinjal? You know? She said, then you are also expecting something which I cannot change. Neither can you change. You are so short, I cannot put you in a UTM machine and expand you. Huh? Nor can you change the color. Maybe a little bit fair and lovely can put, but you can't put 1 inch thick fair and lovely, you cannot put. Huh? So, what cannot be changed should be accepted. What cannot be cured must be endured. So, that is the saying. So, don't force people to change in things which they cannot easily change. Huh? So, learn to live with it as one of the things. Actually, Krishna has put all of us in a specific situation to purify one of the particular anarthas that we need to get purified. For example, if you are a perfectionist, you will get either a son or a daughter or a wife or mother who will not be perfect. And they will keep on purifying you little by little and to bring you to the... If you are very responsible, you will get somebody who will be very cool. You want to sit down and make a financial plan, how we will take the family and we will spend this much money. And that person asking, can you go for outing? बहुत हो गया अभी मुझे sir, now I am getting headache in the head. You want to sit down. You may say, what, sit down, it's boring it is. They will say. So that means Krishna puts us in a situation to purify. So therefore, once you know it is the action by Krishna, then you can't become angry on them also. Because who has put them there? Krishna. So you have to, can you become angry on Krishna? So that's why what cannot be changed must be accepted. So they got 31 out of 40. Haribol.